Welcome back to Stylized Station. If you've wanted to learn how 3D artists make anime and stylized environments, well, you're in luck. In this video, our good friend Yoon, an environment technical artist, is going to give us a full breakdown on how she created her latest project. If you're interested in learning anime stylized art, but don't know where to start, you need to check out our courses. We have massive beginner courses on creating Ghibli and anime style environments, Ghibli style texturing, hand painting, and even Fortnite style character design. We believe that all education should be affordable, so that's why you can get our courses for affordable prices. We're coming up on 20,000 students, so come check them out. Anyway, self-promotion over. Thank you for listening. Let's get into the video.
Hi everyone, my name is Yoon. I'm a 3D environment technical artist who loves creating stylized art. I'm happy to be here today at Stylized Station, sharing some creative process of my latest project. I'll go over my general process of setting up the foliage, landscape, shaders, and how I use some of the procedural tool inside of Unreal Engine 5. For the landscape itself and its main component, including the terrain, stream, trees, and rock scattering, I used Houdini and brought into Unreal Engine 5 using Houdini Engine. When creating the project, I didn't have a specific concept in mind. Thanks to the nature of procedural art, I was able to free sketch the composition as I go, but instead of 2D, I was sketching in 3D. I utilized several tools throughout the process: Maya for modeling, Substance Painter for texturing, and Substance Designer for material creation. For the trees, I used speed trees, and for detailed sculpting work like rocks and the props, I turn into ZBrush. Each tool plays a crucial role in bringing different aspects of the environment to life, allowing me to blend artistic and technical workflow seamlessly. I began by focusing on the grassland, which is the foundation of the visual composition. For the foliage card, I typically create cards in Substance Designer or model them and bake them into texture map. For this project, I chose the modeling approach. I have 3 different grass cards: small, medium, and large, instead of having just one. Each of them has subtle differences to create more variations. When modeling the grass, I focused on having different lanes, curvature, direction, and positional offset. And then I added more thickness and smoothed the model out to make it more 3-dimensional. Once the high poly models were completed, I baked them in Substance Painter and applied the base colors. I kept the base color clean, as they'll be fine-tuned later in shaders. The key was to ensure the textures included ambient occlusion and the subtle gradient. Lastly, we're making the opacity map by simply filling the model with a color white, and the background was black. Back in Maya, I cut the grass texture blend into individual grass cards, and adding a few edge cuts to support the vertex animation in Unreal Engine later. I then assembled the cards into larger clusters, ensuring enough variation but without any single piece standing out too much, since we're gonna be painting a lot of grasses later on. I also checked the placement from multiple angles to maintain a balanced and natural placement. Next, we'll adjust the vertex normals on the foliage mesh to achieve a cleaner look in the render. In Maya, go to Set Vertex Normal option. Set the Y value to 1 and leave the others at 0. Now, if we look at the viewport, we could see all the normals are facing upwards, and that's what we want. With the vertex normal adjusted, the meshes are ready for be exported. We can now bring the grass mesh into Unreal Engine and start integrating it into the scene. Now we're in Unreal Engine, and we could start by assigning the simple green color to the grass. From there, we could switch to the foliage mode and start painting some grass across the entire landscape. At first, the result might not look exactly right. A quick and easy way to improve it instantly is by unchecking the cast shadow option in the foliage mesh properties. Now, it instantly gives us a cleaner, way more stylized appearance. While it's so close to the look we're aiming for, we'll still need to refine it further to make the grassland feel way more natural. Here we're using a technique called virtual texturing, which is basically the technique that allows us to blend the mesh and environment together. The mesh, in this case, the foliage, it could sample the color in the landscape itself. I used the grassland material I created in Substance Designer. I started by creating a single grass strand, then combined multiple strands into a clump. Using a tile sampler, I arranged these clumps into a complete grassland. Then I added some flowers to make it even more interesting. Back in Unreal, apply these textures on landscape, and on top of that, I added a global noise in world space to introduce even more color variations at the larger scale. The grass now blends seamlessly with the landscape. To give it more of a painterly feel, I added color on the tips of the grass and blended back with the virtual texture. With the grassland complete, I avoided hand painting it on the landscape. Instead, I used the Unreal Engine's Procedural foliage sponsor to scatter foliage assets across the desired landscape layer, and then I repeated this process for the other foliage types, such as flowers as well. For animating the foliage, I applied the standard simple grass wind and added a layer of global wind on top of it. To maintain consistency across the foliage elements, I used some material parameter collection. It acts as a global parameter that grabs multiple parameters and across different shaders. Additionally, for both the grass and tree trunks, I used a black and white gradient mask to anchor the bottom parts. I simply multiply the map to this wind animation. This way, the part that's black will remain stationary during the animation, and vice versa. Now it comes to the lighting. I kept the lighting setup really simple to make it easy to create a day and night animation later. The setup includes a directional light, skylight, spotlight for the lantern, and fog. Achieving the right color balance was essential for the final look. I focused on creating a strong visual focal point while incorporating the warm color contrast to enhance the atmosphere. This was accomplished by using an artificial light source, specifically the post lantern, to draw the viewer's attention and provide a subtle contrast to the cooler ambient lighting. Most of the work is handled by the directional light, with the atmospherical changes achieved by adjusting the temperature, intensity, angles, and color. I also made slight tweaks to the fog's color and intensity to complement the lighting shifts. Last but not least, I used post-processing volume, just to give the environment more of a hand-painted 2D stylized look. In the local exposure settings, I play around with the parameter to reduce contrast, softening the scene and bringing cohesive, artistic feel. These adjustments helped enhance the visual style by balancing the lighting and colors, ensuring the environment felt both polished and immersive. Many of the elements came together organically, with adjustments made along the way to achieve the final look and feel. It's always exciting to let creativity flow during the process and discover new techniques that weren't part of the original plan. Thank you for taking your time to watch this breakdown. I hope it gave you some insight into my workflows and the tools I used. If you'd like to explore more of my work or keep up with my future projects, you can find me on ArtStation. I look forward to connecting with other artists. Thank you again for watching.